The Maniac and The Beyond were the bloodiest banned B-movies of the 80s, but there are more movies that are more deadly than these, and there's a whole vault of forbidden carnage out there. If your heart is strong enough, you might survive this countdown, so let's find out the deadliest.
Starting with number 10, Deadly Prey, 1987. This movie is a non-stop bloodbath of 80s madness. Mike Danton, shirtless, savage, and dead-eyed, turns the jungle into a backyard war zone. No strategy, no mercy, just raw feral violence. He slices through soldiers with machetes, tree branches, even his bare hands. At one point, he rips off a guy's arm and beats him with it. No music, just screaming, grunting, and the sick crunch of bones. It's so chaotic, so unfiltered, it feels illegal to watch, like a home video of revenge gone way too far. No polish, no glory, just rage. Banned in countries like the UK and Australia for being too real. But here's the question, would you survive watching this, or would you tap out before the credits? At number 9, The Exterminator, 1980. This movie tells the story of a Vietnam veteran who, after his best friend is brutally attacked by street thugs, becomes a ruthless vigilante, taking justice into his own hands. He declares war on New York's criminal world, punishing them with brutal, no-mercy methods. The most shocking scene? Without question, is the infamous meat grinder sequence. A mobster is tied up in a warehouse and slowly lowered into an industrial meat grinder while still alive. The scene drags with brutal intensity, blood splattering as the sound effects make it almost unbearable. It's slow, disturbing, and unforgettable, leaving many viewers squirming and critics genuinely upset. If that scene made your jaw drop or your stomach turn, hit like and subscribe. You clearly have a taste for the intense. And there's more where that came from, and you won't want to miss what's next. The film ended up being banned in the UK and heavily censored in Australia and Germany for its over-the-top violence and realistic torture scenes. Number 8, Combat Shock, 1984. Combat Shock follows a broken Vietnam veteran named Frankie, who returns home to poverty, addiction, and mental torment. Struggling to support his sick wife and mutated baby, he slowly unravels under the weight of his trauma. The most brutal scene comes in the final 10 minutes, a downward spiral into pure horror. Frankie, completely unhinged, poisons his own family to save them from a life of suffering. And then, in a moment so quiet it screams, he turns the gun on himself. No music, no build-up, just raw, hopeless despair. It's the kind of scene that leaves you staring at the screen, hollow, wondering what you just witnessed. The film was banned in several countries, including Norway and Australia, because of its disturbing imagery and intense psychological weight. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. This isn't jump scare horror, it's the kind that clings to your brain long after the credits roll. You don't just watch Combat Shock, you survive it. It's bleak, it's personal, and yeah, it's nasty in the most human way possible. 7. Tenebrae, 1982. This movie tells us the story of an American horror writer who travels to Rome, only to find that a real killer is using his books as inspiration for a string of brutal murders. As the bodies pile up, the line between fiction and reality blur in bloody fashion. The most carnage-packed scene? The double-axe murder. 2 women cornered in a sleek modern villa as the killer bursts in. One gets hacked down with an axe, blood painting the white walls in slow motion. You're barely processing that when bam, a second woman's throat is slashed out of nowhere. The camera glides through the glass and hallways like it's admiring the chaos. It's brutal, it's beautiful, and yeah, it makes your stomach drop. Stylish horror with no mercy. The UK banned Tenebrae under the Video's Nasties list, and it was restricted in Germany and Australia for its mix of violence and sexual content. Feeling scared already? Relax, this is just the beginning. So what will your reaction be by the time we reach the last one? Because we're halfway through the video, and I can't wait to see how you guys react when we reach the first ranked one. Number 6, Riki-Oh, The Story of Riki, 1989. This film follows Riki, a superpowered martial artist sent to a brutal corrupt prison where he fights back against sadistic guards and monstrous inmates. With strength beyond human limits, he turns the prison into a battlefield of bones, blood, and revenge. So now you're probably wondering, what's the wildest scene? Try this. A prisoner literally gets choked with his own intestines after Riki punches a hole straight through his stomach. Yeah, that actually happens. We're talking exploding heads, crushed skulls, and a villain who rips off his own face like it's just another Tuesday. This film was banned in Germany, chopped to bits in the UK and Australia, and for good reason. It's so outrageously unhinged, you can't look away. It's not just martial arts, it's a blood-soaked comic book on steroids, where every punch writes a new page in chaos. So here's the real question. Do you have the guts to stomach what's coming in the second position, or are you tapping out already? 5. Street Trash 1987. Street Trash is one of the wildest, sleaziest, and most carnage-filled B-movie of the 80s, and it got banned in places like Australia, the UK, and parts of Scandinavia for its meltdown madness. The story? A liquor store owner finds a crate of 60-year-old booze called TwentyFour Viper and sells it cheap to homeless folks. The catch? One sip and their bodies violently melt into neon sludge. The story quickly turns into total chaos, with homeless people in a junkyard fighting over territory, a crazy Vietnam War veteran causing trouble, and a bunch of weird over-the-top moments that don't really make sense. But the most carnage-packed scene? A dude's private part is ripped off and thrown around like a game of hot potato. Yeah, really. It's gross, it's surreal, and it's so band-worthy. Street Trash is less about plot and more about splatter spectacle. Ever seen a movie where melting people and flying genitalia collide in one scene? Well, you have now. Are you brave enough to watch it though? Number 4. Cannibal Ferox, 1981. The movie follows 3 friends who travel deep into the Amazon to prove that cannibalism is just a myth. But their journey turns into a nightmare when they meet drug dealers and a tribe that's far more real and far more brutal than they ever imagined. The most disgusting scene? A man is strung up, tortured, and has the top of his skull sliced off while he's still alive. His brains are exposed as the camera lingers, showing every gruesome detail. It's raw, disturbing, and feels horrifyingly real. And that's not even counting the scenes with real animal deaths, which shocked even the most hardened horror fans. It almost makes us feel inhuman just watching it. Banned in over a dozen countries, including the UK, Australia, and Norway, Cannibal Ferox was labeled a video nasty and became infamous worldwide. Number 3. Intruder 1989. The scene takes place during the night shift at a grocery store, where employees are being picked off one by a mysterious killer. What starts as a quiet shift quickly turns into a bloody nightmare as the aisles run red with some of the most brutal kills in slasher history. So what would you do if you ever found yourself in a situation like that? Don't worry, it won't come. The most horrifying scene in the movie is when the worker's face gets pushed into a meat slicer. Slow, graphic, and disturbingly realistic. Flesh peels away as the blade grinds through his head. The camera doesn't cut away. It's hard to watch, super intense, and stays in our minds. And that's only one scene. There's also a bandsaw killing and a body hung up like it's something that you'd find on a store shelf. Though not outright banned in many countries, Intruder was heavily cut in the UK, Germany, and Australia for its extreme violence. No need to call on the gods just yet, there's still more madness on the way. Number 2. Maniac 1980. The film tells the tale of Frank Zito, a deeply disturbed man haunted by childhood abuse, who stalks and kills women in New York City, while talking to mannequins he believes are real. His mind unravels as the city becomes his hunting ground. The most brutal scene is when a man sits in a parked car when, bam, his head explodes from a point-blank shotgun blast, filmed in slow motion. The blood splatter is insane, and the work was done by Tom Savini's legendary effects work. It looks terrifyingly real. Maniac was banned in Germany, New Zealand, and even temporarily in the UK under the video's naughties list. The violence wasn't just gory, it felt personal, like stepping inside a killer's twisted thoughts. Now comes the most awaited and top-ranking one. Number 1, The Beyond 1981. This hotel isn't just old, it's sitting on one of the 7 gates of hell. In this movie, a woman inherits a creepy Louisiana inn, and the moment she steps inside, reality starts to rot. The dead rise. Time unravels, and the blood never stops. Then comes the scene acid slowly melts a man's face, flesh bubbling off as the camera refuses to blink. There's no cutaway, no mercy, just pure stomach-churning horror. Spiders attack, eyes are gouged, zombie priests wander the halls like a fever dream. It's not just scary, it feels wrong, like you're watching something forbidden. No wonder it's banned in Germany, Norway, and the UK. But what's horror if it doesn't make you a little afraid to sleep afterwards? Which one of these band explosion fests blew your mind the most? If it left a mark, like and share with your fellow action junkies. And if gritty lost war films from the 60s are more your vibe, then don't miss my favorite overlooked gems in the last video. And of course, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.